This listener wrote, hi there. I just listened to your podcast on Spotify about how to help a partner with depression. I'm 27. I'm in no rush to get married or have kids, but I am getting the point where I'm seeking a life partner. I dated the same man for 6 years throughout college and a bit beyond. And I do think it ultimately ended because we weren't able to work through his depression. So this was a prior relationship. I couldn't express my negative emotions without him self-blaming for my emotions, and he refused to put work in for himself. All right, so
okay, that's a good one.
I've just entered a new relationship with a lovely human being, and he's been very vulnerable, and he has expressed that he also experiences depression. I want to say that I've learned a lot from my past relationship and through therapy for years, and I want to work through this knowing that depression triggers my anxiety. So other people's depression triggers her anxiety.
Wow.
I fully believe my current partner is worth supporting and working through this depression together. I don't want to abandon this just because it's hard, even though I've struggled in the past with partners with depression. I don't yet know what he needs in terms of support and find that he doesn't often know either. He has never gone to therapy and does not have interest in medications of any kind, even Advil. So do you have any recommendations for starting this conversation? I'm entirely willing and already talking to my therapist about how to support him without trying to fix him. And I want to be able to encourage him to find support on his own without making him feel like he's falling short and making his depression worse. I would appreciate any advice, and I really appreciate your podcast so much.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for that. I have so many things going through my mind at once. But I think I want to start with, I'm thinking of the anxiety that this listener is experiencing and how that's attached to like past relationships not working out or not feeling successful. And when that doesn't happen, right, it increases your anxiety because now it's like, oh my gosh, this is happening again. And what if it happens the same way? And what if I can't, like, they were saying, fix it? And so just to really normalize that anxiety because there's been experience with this before and it failed and it didn't turn out well, to just be okay with that and be with that anxiety because that anxiety is telling you something, right? You're already saying, I know it's a trigger. And whenever we're triggered, that means we get to grow through whatever that trigger is.
I mean, I love the fact that this woman who wrote in is just so far along. Like you can tell, like she's not at the beginning of the process of understanding that even difficult things in relationship our partner does is really an opportunity for us to personally grow and move forward. So I love where she is just in general in that process. I mean, what jumps out to me is just an understanding now that she knows that depression triggers her anxiety, is understanding that on a much deeper level. And for me, and this is a topic that's near and dear to our own heart because, we've had an episode where we talk about, Tarah, your depression and my struggles and successes and supporting you in it. The thing about depression is it's so below the surface, and so I can see why this listener why it triggers anxiety because, when you see your partner that they're just off, that there's just something that you're not sure what's going on and how that can just be like, that triggers like that control, like what's going on? How do I stabilize my world?
Well, and when there's bouts of it, because you have experienced me like in the most joyful, high energy, lovely times. And my depression is not this like daily consistent thing. Like it comes in these bouts where like in like one day or it's usually a day or a week, like things can change. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening for this couple, but like it's really hard to see your partner like living, loving life. And then all of a sudden like
because she says,
despair.
because she says like, this is just a wonderful human being. So obviously there are many times that they're having that are really joyful and playful and fun. And then when that depression, and I think of it like a bank of fog that just like rolls in, that it's like, it's destabilizing to both people, but in very different ways of like, whoa, what happened? And then it seems like one of her biggest questions is, he hasn't really taken it on yet. At least, that he's not open to medications, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he has a therapist yet. How can she support him where he is in his own process around his depression?
Well, and understanding the shame that comes with people who experience depression. Like, they don't want to have it. They don't want to feel that way. So they'll do anything to like compartmentalize it and be like, no, like it just happens once in a while. I'm good.
Yeah.
So understanding that piece, I mean, we can't speak to the person who's experiencing it and what they can and can't do, but we can speak to the listener who wrote in around understanding that anxiety and how to be with that in a non-judgmental way when the partner is experiencing a mood fluctuation. Because I know for me, I experienced depression and there used to be this judgment from you, like, oh my gosh, why are you like this way this morning? Like, and that made it 10 times worse. And so I had to get really good at being okay with it myself and letting you know what I need. Right. And you were receptive. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to get better at understanding that sometimes depression doesn't look like depression. That oftentimes when a person is depressed, it comes out in other ways. It comes out in maybe irritability or being very distant, or, it can come out in a variety of ways. And so the way your depression would present sometimes doesn't look like depression. And then so I just think like, why is she like picking me apart? Or why is just this morning, like why is there just like gloom around the house? And so for me, and maybe for this partner as well, is really tuning into like, I have to be really aware of being empathetic to ways in which depression might present that are disagreeable to me.
Yes. And one thing I'm also thinking about here is, right, when depression happens, there's like this negative view of yourself, of others in the world. And no amount of anything in those moments brings anything back. Like, you know what I mean? And you always tried to fix it. And so I know this reader said, how do I support it instead of fix it? And I would be like, dude, if you knew how to fix it, like I would know how to fix it. Like there's no fixing this. And that's where her anxiety might be coming from, because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how to fix it. There's zero fixing it. There's zero solving it. There's support, absolutely. But a big thing for me, and I don't get it right all of the time, is like, I have to be okay with all of my emotions, whether they're uncomfortable or comfortable at any given time. And my partner has to work on being okay with them too. And ask me how many times I've said to you, EJ, I don't want you to fix this. Yeah. If it was fixable, man, we do that. We're smart people. I just need you to be with me. I need you to give me a hug. I need you to be like, I've got you. I've got you. Those are the 3 words I need you to say, because I already feel so miserable. I've got you, right? Don't take the kids away from me. Don't like remove yourself. Like come in there with me. And, Dr. Stan Tatkin, I learned this from him when we were at his retreat in Spain a couple of years ago. If one partner is experiencing depression or anxiety, both of you are. And so here's another thing, because you're saying, I really want to, how do I get him to go into therapy to talk about it? Maybe it's not about him, but you can say, listen, I'm really experiencing anxiety around some of the mood stuff or the sadness at times because of my past. Would you be willing to come in with me to a therapy session so you can understand my anxiety better? You keep the focus on you because that's all the control you really have. Then he's not feeling like, why is she getting me to, right? Because it's about you. You're saying, I want to understand this more. I love you. You're a wonderful human. I don't want to mess this time up. I want to be okay with all of it. And you can kind of make it about you, that he's actually supporting your anxiety just in the way that she wants to support his depression.